So, welcome to the next section. So, in this, we're going to study the scripts. I mean, not study the scripts, but also practice them. I'm going to recite the scripts in an ideal way or the way that I do, but it's not necessary that your way is going to be the same as mine. I mean, every voiceover artist has his own uniqueness. So I'll just show you how I do it. And what you can do is you can align your skills accordingly, but not really. You don't have to copy me. Because if you copy me, you'll just be me. I want each and every one of you to have a unique personality to their voices. Okay, so the objective here is to make sure that your voice is unique. But I'll just tell you the technicalities of the things that can be adjusted, all the things that can make you sound better, good in any way. But after all, it is you who is going to have the uniqueness, and it is you that you have to be yourself. Because if you're not yourself, it'll show. If you just end up doing the same e-learning scripts like everyone else, it will show. The entire idea revolves around only one thing, that is engagement. If you derive engagement from any kind of speech, I mean, I've taught you intonations, I've taught you a lot of things about stress, but then despite knowing all of this, if you're not able to deliver engagement into your voice, it will sound boring. Okay, so the entire idea is not to sound completely like me, but to sound better. Just go and be better than me. Don't compare yourself to me. Do not try to sound like me. Do not even like copy me. Do not copy me. Just see how I do it and align yourself in similar fashion. Okay, align yourself according to your uniqueness. Everyone has a personality, and so like stick to your personality. All right, so be yourself and stay relaxed, and you can just see the scripts. I'll show the scripts, of course, and we'll go through it. We'll mark what's important. We'll go to the next script. Let me just show you the script. So let's go through this sample script. It's the script. The name of the script is private equity video. Now you see this script. Okay, every time you get the script, the first thing that I've already told you, like, give it a dry read. I'm giving you a chance. Give it a dry read. I'll read it along with you. We'll take 30 seconds and give it a dry read. Do it along with me. We'll just give it a dry, nice read. Now you can read silently. You don't have to really read it aloud. Your ability to address the needs and goals of clients in these important segments will help you attract new business and build your practice. As of a goal. All right, you must have gone through the script. So the first thing that we are supposed to do is punctuate it. Right? Very simple, like punctuate it. Let's punctuate it. So, welcome and thank you for taking the time to learn. Now, what if you say it this way? Welcome and thank you for taking the time to learn about private equity. I mean, it sounds very rushed up. So, why not we punctuate it? We add one comma somewhere. Welcome and thank you. Welcome and thank you for taking the time to learn a little about private equity. Now, look at how many ways we can punctuate this sentence. Welcome, welcome, and thank you for taking the time to learn a little about private equity. So, you can really punctuate after welcome. You can, and thank you for taking the time to learn a little about private equity. So what happens is when you just recite the entire sentence in one go, it sounds a bit rushed up. So the audience, I'll tell you more about audience, but let's just punctuate it. So I think this is the kind of punctuation that I would use, but you can use it different. You can punctuate after thank you. And you can continue this. Welcome and thank you for taking the time to learn a little about private equity. I actually use the punctuation even after little. About private equity. Look at how the sentence is segmented. Welcome and thank you for taking the time to learn a little about private equity. So I think the punctuation after little is not necessary. You can skip it to learn a little about private equity. Now, you can punctuate it differently. For taking the time to learn a little, you can skip the punctuation here and you can add after learn. Look at how it will sound. Welcome and thank you for taking the time to learn a little about private equity. It sounds different. So, like punctuate at the right time, something that sounds very sensible. I mean, there's no rocket science. Just go ahead and punctuate at places where it sounds sensible and very practical. Okay, don't punctuate everywhere. If you take a lot of sentence gaps, it will be very segmented and people will lose interest. So the idea is to punctuate at the right gaps. Now, this punctuation thing applies to all languages. Even if you're going to do voiceovers in Hindi, Marathi, English, Malayalam, Tamil, Telugu, or any kind of language, this is going to apply all the time. So now, after punctuations, I've just given you an example. In this presentation, you will learn the basics about private equity. In this presentation, you will learn basics about private equity. You can actually. So punctuation is not like we punctuate only so that we can take a gasp of air. Like we can just breathe a little. Once you breathe a little, you can deliver better in the next sentence. So come on, if this entire next sentence, if it was not with the punctuations, look at how it will sound. In this presentation, you will learn the basics about private equity and the role it can play in your clients' portfolios as well as in your practice. I mean, this message is very clear. It sounds nice, and everyone knows what you're trying to say, but it does not really sound nice. I mean, look at it, sounds a little off. So let's go ahead and mark a few punctuations in this sentence. Your ability to address the needs and goals of the clients in these important segments will help you attract new businesses and build your practice. So we have marked punctuations here. You can mark it in different ways. Your ability to address the needs, you can take a gasp, you can take a breath, and goals of clients in these important segments, you can even alter these punctuations in these important segments, will help you attract new business and build your practice. Look at it. It sounds so good now. So what we can do is, let's mark all the punctuations in the entire paragraph. Clients have goals related to 7 priorities, with finance being the connecting point among all of them. I think it's a full stop. Among all of them. Connecting point among them all. Understanding these life priorities can help you identify. See, after I took a pause after priorities. Can help you identify concerns clients may have. You can also take a pause after concerns clients may have in the pursuit of their goals. So one more thing, all the gaps are not going to be equidistant. Some gaps are just going to be more, some gaps are going to be big, some gaps are going to be small. So decide on it. Sometimes, like you can mark this thing. I used to do this. If it's a big gap, mark it with 3 commas. If it's a small gap, mark it with 1 comma. Okay. For example, clients have goals related to 7 priorities, with finance being the connecting point among them all. So this is a normal gap. I mark it with 2 commas. Understanding these life priorities, after priorities, it's a big gap. You can mark it with 3 commas. Can help you identify concerns. It's a small gap. 2 commas. Clients may have in the pursuit of their goal. So in this way, you can actually differentiate what kind of pause you're supposed to take after the words that you have marked. So, see, grammatically it's incorrect. Okay, grammatically there's nothing like 3 commas, 4 commas. You have, like, if you're writing and you are a student, don't use any of these. Okay, don't use 2 or 3 commas. It's just for our understanding. The commas have a purpose of only understanding what kind of pause we are supposed to deliver between those sentences, and the pauses are necessary, because without the pauses, you cannot really take a breath, and you cannot really go forward. What happens is, even if you're able to manage the entire sentence in one go, okay, even if you're able to manage it, it will sound as if it is not in an explanatory tone. It will sound as if it is just a readout. The difference between readout and a voiceover is the gaps. There is more in the gaps than there is in the sentences. Okay, the kind of gaps that you take, the kind of intonations you take after the gap, the kind of variations you create, that is exactly where the skill of a voiceover artist lies. Okay, every voiceover artist does it differently, and everyone has their own persona. Okay, so I might do it differently at some stress points, you can do it differently. So create that uniqueness within you. Because see, you can imitate me, you can just do what as I say, you can just try to say the sentences as I say, but that's not the end goal, right? We want to extract the you out of you. We want to create we want to add a unique artist to the ecosystem. We just don't want to add myself, another copy of myself to the ecosystem, right? We want to add a better voiceover artist. So do not copy any of the sentences or stress points that I do, but just create your own. I mean, stress somewhere, like create your own methodology. All right. So clients may have in the pursuit of their goals. For instance, a client in segment 4 through 6. So if I were there, I would take a gap at 4 through 9 may want to now invest according to my values, save for retirement, enhance returns while lowering risk, help preserve my original document. For many of these clients, private equity can be found. So these are fairly simple sentences. I mean, there's no need for gaps. These are very simple sentences. You just start and you end. For many of these clients, private equity can be an important solution to them in the pursuit of their goals. Private equity can be a solution, important solution. After solution, you can mark a pause. I will add 2 commas. Okay, to help them pursue their goals. Specifically, we'll discuss how private equity. Okay, so the first step is complete, marking all the punctuations. Now the second step here is, see, I'm teaching you, I'm breaking it down one by one, but when you really do it, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this incrementally. You just have to do it at the same time. Okay. So, for example, I'm reading out a sentence. Welcome and thank you for taking the time to learn a little about private equity. What you have to do is you mark the punctuations. After that, you mark the most important words, the words that are important to be told, and the words that are needed to be stressed. So this entire video is about private equity. It is going to have some kind of technical words. You have to do is you have to take a highlighter. I'll just show you. All that you should do is take a highlighter and start marking the important words. Welcome and thank you for taking the time to learn about private equity. So, of course, private equity is an important word. Okay, why is this not coming? So, private equity, mark private equity. In this presentation, you will learn the basics about private equity. Private equity is going to be a universally important word in this voiceover. So, and then what you do is you mark clients' portfolios, ability to understand needs. So, all the questions that answer all the WH questions, WH and HW questions, who, what, when, how, who, what, when, how, and those kind of why. Okay, the answer to these questions need to be highlighted. In this presentation, who will learn? You will learn. You'll learn. So this needs to be fairly understandable, because I mean, you have to tell them. People really, this is an explanatory video. It's an e-learning video. Okay. In e-learning, you will definitely need to tell people more of the things that that is necessary for them. They don't really know what's necessary for them. You have to tell them. Okay. So your ability, whose ability? Your ability to address the needs and goals of clients. Whose needs? Of clients. In these important segments will attract new business. What will it attract? New business. And build your practice. What will it help? This entire course will help them with their practice. So it's important. Clients have goals related to 7 life priorities. Now, all these sentences that have numbers or quantifications associated, like 7, 5,200 bhp, or 2.5 liter engine, or anything that exaggerates some numbers, okay? Like, this is a huge discount. Give them a great amount of cashback. Okay, this speaker sounds great. So all these exaggerated sentences or exaggerated parts of the segments, like uh, figures, most of the times it's going to be figures. These figures need to be highlighted more. You have to put more stress because it's important. For example, see, there's a sentence like, this university, Mumbai University, has 25,000 students. What if you just say, Mumbai University has 25,000 students? Well, 25,000 is something very significant to the sentence. 25,000 makes, like, alters the entire sentence. Hence, focus more on the quantifications, all the words that do some kind of quantifications. Okay, 7 lives. So 7 life priorities. How much? 7 priorities. So the idea is simple. Just ask the who, what, when, how, and all these WH questions and H questions, and you will get the answers. And these are the statements or the parts of segments or the words that need to be highlighted more than others. And finance being connecting point among them all. Understanding these life priorities, understanding what? Life priorities can help you identify, can help who identify, can help you identify, can help you identify concerns. What will it help identify? Concerns clients may have in the pursuit of their goals. For instance, a segment in segments, for instance, a client in segments 4 and through may want. So again here, as I told you, everywhere there is quantification or some kind of digits or some kind of stress involved, like something which is insignificant, you have to highlight them. For instance, client in segments 4 through 9. Which segment? 4 and 9. You have to highlight them. Want to invest according to my values. According to what? Values. Save for what? Retirement. Enhance returns while lowering risk. What do they expect as a return? Lowering risk. Help preserve their original document investment. For many of these clients, private equity can be an important solution to help them pursue their goals. What is private equity going to help them for? Pursue their goals. Specifically, we'll discuss how private equity solutions can fit into your overall goal-based approach with clients, and what way it will help you in your goal-based approach. Help your clients pursue the goals that matter the most to them. Well, I think here you can highlight something, but then I think it's unnecessary. Attract what? Attract new assets. Okay. So look at this. We have highlighted the entire paragraph. Welcome and thank you for taking the time to learn a little about private equity. So the next and one of the very important things, like visualizing this now. Okay. The next and the most important thing, like one of the most important things that you have to do is visualize the client. I mean, not the client exactly, but someone who is going to be listening to this audio. Imagine who the people are. Like, this video is about people from private equity. These are very busy people with a lot of work to do and a lot of stress to deal with. And trying to figure out what kind of emotion you would want to deliver it to them. So, these are very serious people. They don't want a lot of happiness. For example, hey, welcome and thank you for taking time to learn welcome and thank you for taking time to learn a little about private equity. This sounds like an advertisement. If you just hype up your entire tone, it will sound like it will sound fake. People will think as if someone is trying to sell them something. And what if you sound a little low, like if you use a low pitch? Welcome and thank you for taking the time to learn a little about private equity. In this presentation, you will learn the basics about private equity and the role it can play in your clients' portfolios as well as in your practice. Well, it makes sense, it sounds good, but no, they won't really like it. They won't want to be very serious. Their lives are already very serious. They're already dealing with money. All that they want is understanding maximum of what they can in the least amount of time. And to do that, you would actually want to like make it very, not very hyped up, but also not very low, but something that resonates with their understanding, something very understandable, engaging, and something that just hits their brains right away. Like it penetrates all inside their minds and stays in there forever. This is the entire purpose of e-learning, right? E-learning is basically someone teaching and someone grasping it. If the idea is someone listening and understanding something, and if that is not fulfilled, I mean, your voiceover, the client would pay you, and the client will also get your voiceover. They'll also create the video module. But if the end consumer is not able to understand it, or the end consumer is not really grasping it, despite of the amazing content, well then, I mean, we are not doing great as a voiceover artist, right? So the entire idea is to understand the emotion and visualize the end consumer. The end consumer, visualize the end consumer and try to understand. Imagine if the consumer is just sitting right beside you, just before you. How would you make him understand? Hey, you know what? Welcome and thank you for taking the time to learn about private equity. How would you make him understand? He's someone who is in the age range of 30 to 35s and 40s. You can't really teach them like a kid. Hey, you know what? Hey, this is private equity, but then this is what we'll be doing, and this is what. No, you can't explain them that way. You have to sound very professional. You also have to not very sound very unprofessional. So there's a small variation that you have to create specifically for the end consumer. So every time that you get a script, try to get into those emotions. Emotions of a teacher, emotions of someone who is about to make someone understand something by just with only their voices, only their voice, nothing else. This is what you do as a voiceover artist. So I think the kind of tone that I will maintain in this video will be something of a very sophisticated, friendly tone. Sophisticated and friendly tone. All that I would do is I'll sound like I'm the boss, but I'll also make it very friendly. I'll sound as if the boss is your friend. Of course, it does not happen in real life, but that's what I'm going to make it sound like. That is the entire idea about this course. Sophisticated, yet friendly, yet entertaining and engaging. You don't have to laugh it out. And one more thing, do not forget to smile ever. Always put on that little smile. Not a very bright one, not a very dull one, but a one that just makes a difference in the sentence when recited with a smile and without a smile. Okay, so just make a smile. Now we have marked the punctuations, we have marked the most important words. Now figure out intonations. I have taught a lot about intonations to you, like very specifically. I have told you a lot about intonations. If you have paid attention to it, all of this will be a child's play. But if you haven't, you can always go back and understand and come back, or I will just help you out once with this one script. All right. So we have marked punctuations. We have marked most important words. We have understood the emotion behind the entire script. We have understood our client, the end user. Now we have to create this engagement around it. Now, creating engagement is a part of intonation and variation in the pitches. Okay? Pitch and intonation together, put together, is going to make the entire sentence. You can do all of these previous things, like the 4 things that I've talked about, like punctuations and these. But if you do not play well on intonations, well, the intonations is the only difference between a normal sentence and a voiceover. Okay? Don't, if you read it like in schools, teachers used to ask us to read some paragraph, and what we would do, we'll just want to get it done. No, that's not how you're supposed to do for voiceovers. All right? So in this tone, in this entire video, we're going to intonate differently. I'm going to help you out with intonations. I'm going to tell you where we can intonate and how we can intonate, and we'll see how we can go about it. All right? So let's just intonate for the first sentence. Welcome and thank you for taking the time to learn about private equity. So, as the sentence, as the first sentence that you see, I mean, you will use a rising intonation for the first sentence. Welcome and thank you for taking the time to learn about private equity. Learn about private equity. Learn about private equity. Of course, every time that a sentence ends, you have to end on a falling intonation. Private equity is going to be a falling intonation. So, what I can do is I can mark intonations. So, welcome and thank you for taking time like thank you, this is a rising intonation. So what we can do is we can mark it with an underline. Yeah, we can mark it an underline as of now. Welcome and thank you for taking time. Welcome and thank you for taking time to learn about private equity. Learn about private equity. Welcome for taking time, it's a falling intonation. Okay. Welcome and thank you for taking time to learn about look at how we have increased the pace here. To learn about private equity, we have again, we'll just underline it. And then private, look at how we have just improved the sentence, like private equity, rising and a falling intonation in the same set of two words, in a couple of words. So what we'll do is, this is a rising intonation and this is a falling intonation. So look at how simple I've made it. I can mark those arrows. There is something like arrows to mark about intonation, but the problem is, I mean, it will be very messy, and you won't be able to figure it out. Okay, so look at how welcome and thank you for taking time to learn about private equity. Very simple. So you can mark intonations in your own ways, not like this. I've just found out a comfortable way to mark intonations. You can always do it in any of your different ways. You can like highlight it. You can do anything that you want. Just try to find the intonations. Where exactly would you want to intonate? Where exactly is the stress point? Stress point. Your ability to address the needs and goals of the clients in these important segments will help you attract new business and build your practice. Look at how, again, in the end, we have a falling intonation. It's important, falling intonation. And this entire sentence, okay, you can try different combinations. You can even because this is a big sentence, so you can break it down. You can try different combinations. You can alter the pitch. You can change the intonations. Your ability to address the needs. Now, this one sentence can be said in so many different ways. Your ability to address the needs. So what you can do is you can have a falling intonation here and a rising here intonation here. Address the needs. So we use these intonations like rising intonation when there is something else coming up in the next part of the sentence. For example, address the needs. Yeah, and what? It feels like, yes, and what? And goals of the clients. In these important segments. Of course, we should have highlighted this, but yeah, it's fine. So your ability to understand these needs, understand the needs and the goals. So in these kind of sections, when there is something else coming up ahead in the sentence, you should mark a rising intonation. I have told you these rules in the intonation section. You can always go back and try to understand it. Your ability to understand the needs and goals of clients so here there is no connector, so we can actually go ahead and continue the falling intonation. In these important segments will help you attract new business and build your practice. Look at how we have taken it. In these important segments will help you attract new business and build your clients. So this entire sentence, we have tried to build it up. We have tried to build an intonation, rising intonation. And here we have tried this here, and build your practice. Here there'll be a falling intonation. What's the shortcut for this? There's no shortcut. Okay. So strike through. Build your practice. Your ability to understand, address the needs and goals of clients in these important segments will help you attract new business and build your practice. So look at how, like, isn't it very simple? All that you have to do is mark intonations, and you just have to practice them. You have to just like adhere to all the intonations that you have marked. If you feel something is off, you can always alter it somehow. Sometimes the intonations might not really follow all the rules. You can always alter it somehow, like try to make something sound good. Clients have the goals related to 7 life properties, with finance being. So in this, I'm using a falling intonation. It's because this entire sentence on its own is a different sentence, and this is a connecting sentence. I mean, they're not really completely related right now. Okay, there's no and, there's no along with, there's no if. There's nothing that is connected. So we can have this falling intonation with 7 life priorities, with finance being the connecting point among them all. You can also connect these two with finance, 7 life priorities, with finance being the connecting point among them all. You can actually make the falling intonation here after connecting point. You can have a falling intonation here. Among them all, among them all. So this falling intonation is further continued in the next section, among them all. Of course, any sentence enders will have a falling intonation. Okay? This is a falling intonation again. Understanding these life priorities can help you identify concerns clients may have in their pursuit of their goals. Identify concerns. So this pause has to be a very small one. It's not supposed to be a big one. Can help you identify concerns clients may have in their pursuit of their goals. Okay? You can also mark this differently. So all these simple sentences. Now, for instance, a client in segment through may want to invest in values. So look at this. May want to is an incomplete sentence. So whenever there is an incomplete sentence, it has to have a rising intonation. May want to invest according to my values. It's an incomplete statement. And this incomplete statement needs to have a rising intonation. May want to invest according to my values. So the answer to this question, the answer to this may want to is in the next sentence, which is going to be a sentence ender. All of may want to is connected to all of these in an equal way. Okay, the points here are equivalent. So may want to invest according to my values, save the retirement. Look at this, how we can alter this. We said save for in a very increasing fashion, save for in a rising intonation, and then retirement in a falling intonation because it's a sentence ender. In a falling intonation. Enhance returns while lowering risk. Enhance returns while lowering risk. While lowering risk. So this is isn't it very easy to do when you have the entire script has everything present in it. Where to exactly stress, all the things that you need to intonate, all the sections that you need to raise your pitch. You can also mark anything. Help them preserve my original investment. 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 Again, rising and falling intonation. Specifically, we'll discuss how private equity solutions can. Why? Because again, there's an incomplete sentence, and this sentence is going to be followed by the answer. All right. Fit into your overall goals-based approach with clients. Now, you can actually create a lot of variations with your intonations as well. Even in rising intonations, you can really there's a spectrum in the rising intonation section as well. There is a spectrum. Not all of the rising intonations are extremely rising. Some are just mildly rising. Some are just slightly rising. Fit into your overall goods. Fit into your overall goals. Fit into your overall goals. Look at the variations in rising intonations as well. You can alter the variations in the rising and falling intonations as well in order to make impact. Help your clients pursue the goals. Like engagement, it has to be something very non-monotonous. Okay, so if the previous sentence you have used a very high kind of rising intonation, in the next might you might just alter it and use a very mild rising intonation. In the next one, you can use a falling intonation, like a very mildly falling. You can use a highly falling intonation. New assets, new assets, new assets. I said the same thing in three falling intonations. New assets, new assets, new assets, new assets. Four different tones. You can create so much of variations. So I hope you understand. You can mark these intonations. Equity can fit into your overall goals based approach with clients, help your clients pursue the goals that matter most to them, help you attract new assets. Okay? So I hope this entire thing has helped you understand how you're supposed to go about in a script. Get the script, mark all the intonations, mark all the punctuations, mark you can mark pitches, stress. Then you go about understanding the emotion behind the video or the course. Then try to understand the audience. And after doing all of this, do not forget to smile. So let me just read this entire sentence in my style. It's not necessary that my style has to be the one that is the perfect one. I am a voiceover artist. I'm different from you. You have to have your own uniqueness. Do not copy me. The only thing that I want from you is uniqueness, because there's only one person like me. It's me. If you will just copy the tone that I use, it's not. It's voiceover or any artistic profession is a profession of individuality. Okay, remember all these artistic professions: a singer, a dancer, a voiceover artist. Everyone, they're all individuals, and it is the individuality that makes them different from everyone else. If you be like everyone else, if you sing like Lata Mangeshkar, you wouldn't really be Lata Mangeshkar. You'll still be someone who sounds like Lata Mangeshkar. Who are you supposed? You have to create your own identity. In order to create your own identity, you should give intonations in your own fashion. All right. So I'll just recite this entire sentence on my own, and let's just see. Welcome and thank you for taking the time to learn a little about private equity. In this presentation, you will learn the basics about private equity and the role it can play in your clients' portfolios as well as in your practice. Your ability to understand the needs and goals of clients in these important segments will help you attract new business and build your practice. Clients have goals related to 7 life priorities, with finance being connecting point among them all. Understanding these life priorities can help you identify concerns clients may have in their pursuit of their goals. For instance, a client in segment 4 through 9 may want to invest according to my values, save for retirement, enhance returns while lowering risk, help preserve my original investment. For many of these clients, private equity can be an important solution to help them pursue their goals. Specifically, we'll discuss how private equity solutions can fit into your overall goal-based approach with clients, help your clients pursue the goals that matter most to them, help you attract new assets. Of course, this is not the best one, because I'm not showing you the best one. I'm just trying to tell you the kinds. There's different fashions. I can create more engagement by increasing the pitch. I can create more engagement by altering the intonations. I've given a very standard, neutral kind of a voiceover for this, and you can follow it. Now, if I go into a very friendly mode, welcome and thank you for taking the time to learn a little about private equity. In this presentation, you'll learn the basics about private equity and the role it can play in your clients' portfolios as well as in your practice. Your ability to understand the needs and goals of clients in these important segments will help you attract new business and build your practice. Clients have goals related to 7 life priorities, with finance being the connecting point among them all. Understanding these life priorities can help you identify concerns clients may have in their pursuit of their goals. For instance, a client in segment 4 through 9 may want to invest according to my values, save for retirement, enhance returns while lowering risk, help preserve my original investment. For many of these clients, private equity can be an important solution to help them pursue their goals. Specifically, we'll discuss how private equity can fit into your overall goals based approach with clients, help your clients pursue the goals that matter most to them, help you attract new assets. I can still create three or four variations of this. All right. So, like, be original, be yourself, and just rock it. All right. And try to create an emotional bond with the end consumer. Okay, that is very important. Once you're able to like resonate with the audience, if you hold the nerve of the audience will stay with you for a very long time, no matter what you talk. Okay, try to create that emotional connection with the client. I mean, the end user. All right, see you in the next one.